Um, let's see. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about UAlbany's PhD in counseling psychology. Now, are you guys seeing like a funny view of this, or like hold on. Is this better?
It's full screen now.
Okay. Thank you. And first, I just wanted to say welcome to everyone. My name is Alyssa Yesko. I am the director of the Pathways into Education Center. Our office advises and works with prospective students for all of the programs within the School of Education, answering questions, connecting you with the people who can answer your questions if we aren't the people you're supposed to be talking to. But a really great place to start with your questions. And then we also have Dr. Friedlander here, who is the training director for our PhD program for counseling psych, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself as well and the program.
Alyssa, are you going to advance the slides?
So sorry?
Are you going to advance the slides?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome everybody. I would really enjoy it if you could show your faces, if you're able to do that, just so that I just don't see names. Anyway, I'm very happy to have. I'm very happy to have you here and to hear about our doctoral program in counseling psychology. We have been continuously accredited since 1980 by the American Psychological Association, and we're housed in the School of Education in the Department of Educational and Counseling Psychology. So next slide. Okay, so I don't know why you chose to apply to this program, but I just created a slide of why you might want to train to be a counseling psychologist. So obviously, as a helping professional, you play an important role in enriching the lives of others. As a therapist, as a consultant, as a researcher, as an administrator in a mental health facility, through your research, you contribute to knowledge, to helping other people, improve the lives of people that are in distress. You can work for social justice, both in scholarship and clinical practice, and you can engage in multiple roles. Our students have experience during their doctoral program as therapists, researchers, consultants, supervisors, instructors. And this is a wonderful profession because you can change your primary role over the course of your career. Also, our program really focuses on self-awareness because as therapists, you are the instrument of change. And so you need to know yourself very well and know your biases. So self-awareness is really important in terms of knowing yourself as an individual, a professional, and a member of a community. And the counseling psychology community in this country is, and in several other countries, is a pretty vibrant, enthusiastic, and dedicated group of professionals. So when you join our program, you join the wider community. Next slide, Alyssa. So as I said, we've been continuously accredited. So you don't want to go to a program that's not accredited because you cannot be licensed as a psychologist in any state in the US without going to an accredited program. Same thing in Canada. So this allows you to pursue a professional career as a licensed psychologist. We have very traditional training, scientist practitioner, which means we focus both on the science and on the practice of psychology. And our coursework is developmentally sequenced in terms of teaching students to be clinicians as well as teaching students to be researchers. So we start off at a very basic level that gets more advanced, culminating on the research side with your independent dissertation, and on the clinical side with a one-year APA accredited internship. So along the way, you gain knowledge and skills, not only in psychotherapy, but in assessment. In our program teaching, all of our students teach undergraduates in supervision and in consultation. So as I said, we follow the scientist practitioner model. But in counseling psychology, which is perhaps somewhat different from clinical psychology, traditionally we focus on people's strengths and where they are in terms of human development. So we're trying to facilitate growth and focus on prevention as well as remediation. So it's not as if we're not concerned with people that have mental illnesses or mental disorders. We are, but we have a focus which is really very much bringing people's strengths to the forefront of treatment. We also focus on context, so the fit between the person and the environment that they're in trying to understand personality and understand psychological distress. We have a strong value on diversity, cultural diversity, very broadly defined, not simply race and ethnicity, but age, gender, identity, sexual orientation, religion, social class, family structure, ability status, and so on. And so we encourage scholarship and learning about cultural diversity and cultural humility in treating diverse clients. And our training is high quality. It's sequential and it's pretty comprehensive. Our faculty have knowledge and expertise in a lot of areas. So the course, the PhD requires 81 credits of coursework, seminars, practica, which is clinical practice, internship, the year-long internship, and the as I said, culminating in an independent dissertation that you do under the direction of a committee. Coursework, there's different components. So coursework focusing on the professional course, such as theories of counseling, assessment, supervision, consultation, vocational development, career development, what I'm missing here, multicultural counseling, statistics and research design. We require a minimum of 4 courses in statistics and research design, plus a research tool, and the psychological foundations, basic psychology at the graduate level, which if you had an undergraduate degree in psychology, this is just at a more advanced level, such as developmental psychology, excuse me, social psychology, cognitive psychology, and history and systems of psychology, and the biological basis of psychology, so biopsychology. So the practicum side, you have at least 18 credits of practicum experience. We have a community-based training center downtown that we staff along with the clinical psychology program. And we see clients who pay fees. But then after you do a year there, then you go out into the field in the wider Capital District area. And our practica are in counseling centers, as well as in hospitals and community mental health and a group practice. The internship is got to be one that's accredited by APA, American Psychological Association, 2,000 hours. It's full-time for a year. Our students, aside from coursework and practicum, they do all kinds of professional development activities every year, teaching, research, presenting at conferences, etc. Also, in order to be admitted to candidacy, meaning that you're allowed to do a dissertation and apply for internship at, after the 3rd year, you need to take a doctoral qualifying examination, which sort of pulls together everything you've learned on the practice side and on the science side. The research tool requirement is either a course or some other kind of requirement that will help you with your dissertation. Typically, students take an extra course in statistics or qualitative research, but it could be something more creative than that. We have 2 milestones that have to be completed before graduation. Students must present at a regional, national, or international conference some kind of presentation that you're the first author on. And you also need to submit an article, an empirical article, meaning with data analysis, to a journal and be the first author. It doesn't need to be accepted, but it needs to be submitted. and then of course the dissertation, which is original research. So why our program? So it's been consistently rated as one of the top programs in the country since people started rating programs in the 1980s. Our faculty are internationally recognized, and a number of our faculty are fellows of the American Psychological Association, which is the highest distinction. We have a high rate of program completion and attaining licensure. So somewhere between 92 and 96% of our students get licensed. The ones who don't get licensed is because they're either in a job that doesn't require it, such as maybe working for the state, or they actually change professions, which we've had a couple of people change professions, but that's very rare. But we rarely have students drop out. We support our students emotionally and financially as much as we can. And so students do complete our program. We have a dropout rate of like 2%. And our students are licensed in many states. Most students are funded for 4 years of full-time funding. So you get a stipend, which this year is about $20,000 for 9 months. That also pays your tuition and your health insurance. You just have a small fee to pay for the health insurance every month, every pay period. I don't know whether $15 or something like that. So we have graduates in all kinds of settings, as you can see on the slide: clinical, research, teaching, counseling centers, medical schools, VAs, private practice. Also, if you have coursework at the graduate level, it can't be at the undergraduate level, the graduate level that is comparable to our coursework, you can transfer in credits, not practicum credits, because all practicum have to be taken under the supervision of faculty. But you know, some of the basic psychology courses or the intro courses like career development, group counseling, theories of counseling, those courses are typical multicultural that people have at the master's level that can, if we consider them to be as comparable to our courses, and if you have at least a grade of B, you can transfer those in and then not have to take those courses. Okay. Other reasons, we're very collaborative. Students have an advisor who's a mentor and who collaborates with you on research articles and go to conferences together to present together. We have a strong focus on social justice. Our students put on a diversity conference every year, but social justice and cultural diversity and cultural humility and examining your biases and all of that is throughout our coursework. We don't have a narrow focus. We have a pretty wide focus in terms of the kinds of research that faculty do and encourage among students. As I said before, we have a lot of different kinds of clinical settings for the field practicum after the first year in our training clinic. Our students are very successful in getting their top ranked internship. So every year, the majority of students get their first or second choice. And in terms of getting accepted for an internship, we beat the national statistics every year. In other words, almost always our students get an internship first time around. I mentioned the diversity conference. If you enter at the bachelor's level, you can get a master's in counseling psychology along the way. Doesn't allow you to practice at the master's level like mental health counseling, licensed mental health counselor, but it does give you a master's degree because some jobs and some internship sites require a master's degree. So we want our students that come right from undergraduate to be able to get a master's degree along the way. We also have a special thing called a health disparity certificate. So for students that are particularly interested in health disparities, you can take 3 additional courses. One course, it's 12 credits, but one course you take anyway. It's in multicultural counseling. And you can take 3 additional courses in the School of Public Health and the School of Social Welfare and get a certificate. in terms of health disparity. And if you speak Spanish, you can participate in our graduate exchange program in Spain with a colleague of mine that directs a family therapy research unit. And you can visit it, or you can actually take the entire program there for a year if you want, tuition free. Okay, so I think one of the greatest assets we have, the greatest asset is people, our students and our faculty. We offer great support to our students. We want to be here for our students. Faculty have a lot of different specializations. We're active researchers, national leaders. Many of us practice psychotherapy. We're mentors, help you select the courses, help you figure out what is your professional path. We introduce you to scholars when you go to conferences with us. We help you define your individual interests, and we give you career development advice. The doctoral student cohorts are very cohesive. They have fun together. You know, typically we might have 1 or 2 people from the local area, and the rest are people that come from all over the country or internationally. And so they come here looking for social networks. So our students create a social network. They do a lot of things together. And the university itself offers all kinds of support services, including free counseling to students. As I said, great faculty-student relationships. Here's a quote here from one of our alums. Enabled me to create my own specialty track in health psychology, gain skills as a clinician and researcher. I took on leadership roles, learned a great deal, great relationships with both faculty and students. So I just listed here a lot of places where people have gotten jobs, just to give you a sense of, this is relatively recent, over the last 5 years or so. So you can see where people start out after they get their doctorate, all over the place. A lot of people stay in the Albany area, but a lot go out of state. Sorry. About applications and deadlines. So everyone enters the program in the fall semester. You can't enter any other time. And the deadline for applying is December 1st, whether or not you want an assistantship. But everybody wants an assistantship. I think in the 40-some year history of our program, we've only had 1 person who's funded, self-funded. We need transcripts from all schools that you attended, even like community college. 3 letters of recommendation. It's best to have it from faculty or other people that you have done research with. Statement of goals, mention which faculty members you'd like to work with, so you can look on our website and see, selected publications so you can get an idea of our interests. This year, GRE scores are optional. We're moving toward making them, eliminating them altogether, but right now they're optional. And I think somebody had a question about whether it gives you an edge to send in your GRE scores. No, you don't have to send in your GRE scores. Your resume or CV, and we look at your undergraduate transcript to be sure that you have at least 18 credits of psychology at the undergraduate level. You don't have to have been a psychology major. We've had a lot of people who are majors in biology and neurosciences and computer sciences and English and all kinds of, but you do need a background in psychology. After all, you're going to be doing graduate work in psychology. You can't not have the fundamental understanding of what psychology is as a science. So that needs to include at least 1 3-credit course in statistics, like Intro to Statistics, and either a course in abnormal psychology, which is psychopathology, or in personality. And somebody had a question in the chat. Let me just see. So the transcripts need to be official transcripts.
So actually, Dr. Friedlander, I can
Yeah,
speak to that. I have a little bit of
yeah,
information that I'll just
okay.
provide for each of these
Oh,
requirements.
okay,
So just a couple of things. So if you've previously attended UAlbany, you don't need to request your UAlbany
right.
transcript. That automatically gets added to your application. If you came here for a master's program and they have all of your transcripts from another program that you've completed, they may also have all of your other transcripts as well. When we're looking at GPA in your academic record, we're looking at all institutions and levels where you've completed college coursework. And unofficial transcripts allow your application to be reviewed. So unofficial transcripts are okay temporarily, but official transcripts are required upon admission. So you need them anyway. So I always recommend students you have plenty of time till the applications are due. So you have time to get them. I do just want to show you there's really helpful information on the graduate school's website. So UAlbany, the graduate school, they have great information. If you go, this is their homepage for the graduate school, and the graduate school oversees not only graduate admissions, but all graduate student policies, but this is where you would start your application. If you click on admissions and then apply to a degree or certificate program, not only can you start your application here, but there's step-by-step information on how to apply, how to use the online application portal, and then instructions for each piece of the application, including how to get your transcripts sent in and where. So this is a really helpful website that I always recommend that students visit when they're completing their applications.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Yeah, no
Actually,
problem.
if
And
you,
then we have for your letters of recommendation, there's also submitted directly through that online application portal. Essentially, you will, in your online application, you'll put contact information for each of your recommenders. They will be emailed a link with instructions on how to submit a letter on your behalf. So they don't mail their letters of recommendation, and it's all done online. We mentioned that we want letters of recommendation from a professor who has worked with you in an academic setting or someone who you have done research with. And that is to speak to your academic capabilities and the potential for you to be successful at the doctoral level. So that's why we ask for those. Regardless, all recommendations for our programs should come from people who are able to evaluate your capability for academic success, your work in education or your current field, who have supervised you, who can speak to your capacity for collaborating, managing multiple projects, working independently, and who have observed your effectiveness in a professional context. Specifically for a PhD program, that academic piece and the research piece, that's important because that's a lot of what you'll be doing. And we aren't about setting our students up for failure. We want to know who you are as a student and as a person to make sure that you're a good fit for our program. This is just a personal sort of like informal recommendation, but give your recommenders plenty of notice, right? So if you're planning to apply by the December deadline, if you haven't reached out already, now's a great time. As well as a hard deadline ahead of the application due date. So you would hate for your application to be hung up because you're waiting on someone else to submit a recommendation letter. So I always say, if the application is due December 1st, ask your recommenders to have them in maybe 2 weeks before that, just so that it's all set. And as someone who writes letters of recommendation, having a hard deadline is always really helpful. So that's just my advice to you. Your statement of goals and any written component for an application. For us, this allows us to determine your fit for the program and to see what you have to offer us. It's also a chance for us to evaluate your writing skills, so watch out for typos. And for you, this is your chance to talk about yourself. This is your chance to let us know who you are. What is your background? What are your research interests? What are your career goals? What things have you done in your life that have led you to this program in particular? Why this program in particular? Again, please indicate which faculty member you would prefer as a mentor and why. The statement of goals should be purposeful and to the point. I think a typical statement of goals is around 1 to 2 pages. Again, you guys are here today learning about this program, but it's important to have a good understanding of the program that you're applying to so that your statement of goals reflects that. Why is this program a good fit for me? What about this program is appealing? There's lots of great helpful online resources for writing a statement of goals, and your career office at your former institutions can also be really helpful places for these. And back to Dr. Friedlander to talk. Oh, do you have anything to add to that?
I wanted to say about the unofficial transcripts. If you haven't finished your bachelor's degree or your master's degree, you still submit a transcript of where you're at now. And then if you are admitted, we will just ask for your final transcript. That is, unless you're a New Albany student, in which case we already have it.
Thank you.
In terms of letters of recommendation, if you have a master's degree and you worked as a therapist somewhere, you can, have one of your supervisors write your letters. But we really want to know, as Alyssa said, we want to know your preparation for scientific work, academic work, and your professionalism. Okay. Are you talking or am I talking?
I can cover these, yeah. So how long does this program typically take? It depends on a few different factors, but the average rate of completion for this program is around 5.5 to 6 years, including the internship and your dissertation. For those who are entering with a bachelor's degree, somewhere around 4 years of full-time study for those with some advanced standing credit, depending on how many. Factors to consider include the number of transfer credits, with more transfer credits potentially meaning that you might be able to finish the program a little bit quicker, your own time management skills and motivation, and the time that it takes for you to complete your individual research and your dissertation as well. Can the program be done part-time? This program is designed for full-time study during the academic year. Although summer study is not required, but there are some opportunities for summer study if you're interested, although not as robust as our fall and spring offerings. Can my previous graduate coursework count toward the program? Dr. Friedlander already mentioned that yes. Previous and applicable graduate coursework can count toward our program. You would work with an advisor after you enroll to apply for advanced standing, which is another way of saying credits that transfer in to count toward the program. And in this program, you can transfer in up to 30 credits of previous graduate coursework toward the program. Considerations that your advisor will have would be the content of the course, right? So is it applicable to this degree? Is it applicable to this program? And your performance in the course. Are online courses offered? How are online courses offered? Yes, online courses are offered, but something to keep in mind, this program cannot be completed fully online. There will be opportunities to take online courses during your time in the program. And as a whole, the School of Education offers a really great variety of online courses with synchronous, asynchronous, and hybrid online courses offered.
Actually, Alyssa, we only have one required course online.
Required, but are there options for some of the non-required courses online?
Yes, but
do most people take most of their courses in person?
Yes, almost everything is in person.
Okay.
You could take an optional, like there's a master's course that's online, but in the doctoral program, there's only one course that's online.
Okay, thank you. In what ways can I fund my graduate studies? Dr. Friedlander mentioned this program, our students are typically funded, which involves a 20-hour per week research assistantship in the first year. Second year students traditionally receive an assigned teaching assistantship, where she mentioned, you receive both a stipend and tuition assistance. Third and fourth year students may apply for their desired teaching, clinical, or research assistantship. If you wanted more information on funding, I highly recommend that you reach out to the Office of Financial Aid and Student Accounts. They have great information, as well as the graduate school. They have great information on funding graduate studies, but in this particular program, students are funded. So that's a wonderful benefit. And then just where to find some more information. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, have already visited our program page. So this is our program page, great information about the program. This is where you will find information with Dr. Friedlander's contact information, as well as information on the faculty. Each one of these, so below you'll see the application requirements, deadlines, and required application materials. What's wonderful is we mentioned, please indicate which faculty member you'd prefer as a mentor. You can click on each of their names to learn a little bit more about them and their research interests to see who might align with your own. And so that's a great place to visit.
Alyssa, can you scroll back up?
Yeah.
to where it says, keep going. Oh, hold on, right under accreditation,
Yes.
student admissions, outcomes, and other data. Can you
Oh,
click on
yep.
that? So this is required by APA. So for those of you who, are applying to multiple programs, you want to look for student admissions and outcomes and other data, because this is important information about every program. So first it tells you about the program, then these are terribly hard to see, but it has all the statistics of how many people graduated. I really don't know how to make this bigger. I've
Hold on,
tried.
I'm trying. Sorry, I'm just trying right now.
How many people got internships every year, how many people graduated, how many people, so
You
here
can
you
really
can see
zoom
the time.
in, so you can
Yes,
take a
yeah,
closer look at this
right.
if you just download
So
it. But yeah.
this is, you can see, if you scroll up a little bit, scroll up, you can see our admissions rate, that we have, the number of people admitted who are enrolled as typically more than half, and 100% funding. Then you see time to completion for all the students. You can look starting in 2013 all the way up to 2023, how many people completed, how many people dropped out. And let's see here. Then you can scroll down and look at the costs, but of course the cost, other than the fees, and most fees are actually waived for graduate assistants, but we were asked to put the fees in, but no, people don't pay the fees because you get an assistantship for that. Then internship placement, you can see how many students were placed, every year. Attrition down toward the bottom, how many people have dropped out. You can see the bottom line, 0,001, 0,000. They don't drop out. And then finally, licensure, which from 2013 to 2023, 92% of our students have been licensed as psychologists. So these charts are standard charts from the American Psychological Association that every accredited program must have on their website, so that applicants like you can compare these statistics, which is, I think, really wonderful for students to actually see, the success of the program and students graduating, how long it takes them to complete the program. I think our average is about 6.5 years. You can do it in 5, rarely in 4, but very often our students stay around another year because they want to have more clinical work. They want to have more like I want to work with inpatients. I want to work with children. So you can have more experience before you go on internship. So that's why students stay around for that extra year. So where are we?
I linked the graduate bulletin. You can actually access the graduate bulletin directly from the program page. So this just outlines the requirements for the program. So it gives you a great description of the foundations of the program, as well as the required coursework. So if you, like, I listed it on the PowerPoint, but if you want to take a look for yourself, the types of courses that students take, the credit assignment of the different practicum and internship experiences, this is just a great place to go for a breakdown of the actual degree program. And like I said, the link for this is right on the program page. But sometimes it's not, it's a little like hidden in the text sometimes. So I just like students to be aware that that's there. Dr. Friedlander's email address is right here on the slide, as well as the graduate school. They are a really great resource for questions about the application process, any admissions related questions. And then the PI Center, where I work, again, we provide guidance to our prospective students on our programs. So if you do have questions, of course, reach out to either myself or Dr. Friedlander. We can help to answer questions, or we'll connect you with the person who can answer questions. We can meet with students via Zoom to discuss programs, and we're very responsive to our emails as well.
And it looks like you can get a piece of pie.
You can on Pi Day. So if you on Pi Day in March, we serve pie and we welcome students into our office to learn a little bit about our programs. But we would also love to see some of our current students. So if you are here in March, actually it would be March of the following year, because you'll be starting in the fall, please visit. And then these were the questions that were submitted when students registered. So we will cover these questions. I'll have Dr. Friedlander make her way through these questions. And then we can open it up to additional questions that you may have now. But I do want to let everybody know I have to leave. So Dr. Friedlander, just when you guys are done, this will just stay up on the screen. And then you can just end the meeting whenever you guys are through.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'll just work my way down these questions. Can you use the degree in other states with the credits? So yes, each state in the United States has its own requirements. So for example, New York State requires a course in history and systems of psychology, but other states don't require it. So typically, if you come from an APA accredited program and your coursework meets the coursework that's required in the state, then you can become licensed. So the answer is yes. What qualities are needed? Well, this is not it's not rocket science. So I think it's not. The qualities are really more professional and emotional qualities than and psychological qualities, maybe more than intelligence. So obviously, you need to be able to do a high level of academic work. But students who are successful in our program are self-motivated, self-starters, goal-directed, well-organized, can stay on track. They don't procrastinate to the point of not being able to keep up with the different aspects, that they will go beyond coursework to attend conferences and webinars and to get all kinds of knowledge outside of the classroom, and obviously have a sense of professionalism. So we're looking for students with those kinds of qualities. If you hold a master's in mental health counseling, it depends on where you got it. If you got it from our program, typically our students are able to get advanced standing for 4, 5, or 6 courses. So you probably could, if you work very fast, you could graduate in 4 years, but that's pretty hard to do unless you have done a lot of clinical work between your master's degree and your doctoral degree. Because when you apply for an internship, they want to know how many clinical hours you've had with clients and how many supervision hours. So if you come directly from a master's program like ours, probably you could count on having it take 5 years, unless you decide to slow it down and get more clinical experience. What's the difference between a PhD in clinical and in counseling? Oh dear, I don't know.
Sorry, Dr. Friedlander. I was trying to make you the host so that when you leave, you can end the meeting.
Okay.
Sorry, hold on. I'll undo that and share the screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know how to work it.
Oh, so you just have to enable me to share my screen.
Oh, because I'm now the host?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I was
Okay,
trying to
so
make
I have
it
to go
easier,
to
but
participants.
if you go to screen sharing or share screen and then click the arrow next to it, and then it should be like allow all participants to share.
Yes, right. Okay. Okay, great.
There we go. Sorry. All right, I'm heading out.
Sorry, that's all right. So the difference between clinical and counseling psychology is more in the sort of history of the different specialties and the sort of theoretical perspective and the kinds of coursework you might take. It's somewhat different, but mostly similar. And there's almost no difference in terms of the kinds of jobs you can get. So any kind of job that you can get as a clinical psychologist, you can get as a counseling psychologist. So college counseling centers have clinical psychologists and counseling psychologists. VAs have both, hospitals have both, private practice has both. You can get licensed with both. Typically, clinical psychology has focused more on diagnoses, the medical model, people with more serious mental illness. But our students are also trained in that, and some students wind up working in inpatient units or forensic units or doing neuropsychological assessment. So the difference is more in, as I sort of said before, our focus on strengths and where a person is developmentally and how well they fit in the environment they're in. Counseling psychology has the one area that counseling psychology has that clinical doesn't is that traditionally we offer coursework in career development, vocational development. And that's because counseling psychology started as guidance counseling in the schools and also vocational rehabilitation for veterans returning from World War II. So you're not going to get any coursework in clinical psychology about career decision-making, career choice, work adjustment. You'll only get that in counseling psychology. At present, counseling psychology has more of an emphasis than clinical on multicultural diversity and social justice, and on the process of psychotherapy, like what makes it work, whereas clinical psychology is very often focused on what are the outcomes of therapy. And in terms of theoretical orientation, if you know about theories, almost all clinical psychology programs focus on cognitive behavioral therapy, whereas counseling psychology, typically students are exposed to the full range of theories, and we encourage students to develop their own theoretical perspective. So that's different, but of course it's not uniformly the case. How is the program structured? I'm not sure what this means, but basically in the first year, all students do coursework and research, and there's no practice. There's no practice component in the first year, other than a pre-practicum. If you come directly from a master's degree that was not a counseling master's degree, like if it was a general psychology master's degree, or if you come directly from undergrad, you take a pre-practicum where you learn basic interviewing skills, basic therapy skills, and do a lot of role playing. If you have a master's degree, like in mental health counseling, you don't have to do any of that. You just focus on your coursework and doing research with your mentor. In the second year, all of our students go to our training clinic 2 days a week, and they see clients under the supervision of faculty. And that's one of the perks of our program, is that the supervisors are experienced faculty. Some programs, the supervisors are advanced doctoral students, but you are supervised by faculty. And then in the third year and the fourth year, you go to a field placement, like I mentioned before, a local counseling center, hospital, etc. And then you go on to the internship. On the research side, you work with your advisor, your mentor, on their research project. They encourage you to do independent research and to develop your own research ideas in the first and second year, and leading toward a dissertation. If you, some programs are very, what I call territorial about their students, that if you have a certain mentor, you stay with that person right from the beginning. But we are not like that. We allow students to move between faculty. So, we know what your interests are when you write it on your application, but we expect that your interests are going to change, and you're going to be perhaps attracted to some faculty members' research team that you attend, that you didn't have any idea that there was research in that area. So you don't have to do a dissertation with your advisor. You can move to another faculty member to do your dissertation. And the very last thing that you do is the internship. Full year, go wherever you're accepted in all 50 states or Canada, and finish your dissertation. The main points in an application, we're looking for a fit between what you want to do and what we offer. So if you say you want to study autism, well, we won't look any further after we read your personal statement, because there's nobody on our faculty that has any expertise in autism. So we're looking to see a fit between you and us, and that you really understand counseling psychology, what counseling psychology is, and that this is the field that you want to be in. I currently do not have, yes, you can still apply to the program with recommendations from other than psychology professors. We've had students, like I said, one student I have did her degree in neurosciences and just had a minor in psychology, but she had references from neurosciences professors that spoke to her academic abilities. So we want references not only that speak to your personal qualities for being a therapist, but really we're primarily interested, can you do doctoral level work? Can you do research? And you do not have to take the GRE, and if you submit a GRE, we will look at it, but it's not like we're going to only choose students that have GRE scores. So I'm losing my voice here, but I'm happy to answer any verbal questions. You can put them in the chat, or let me see if I can get out of this view. And
Hi, yes, I had a quick question.
yes, Logan, hi.
Hi, so you had early PowerPoint, you talked about traveling for presenting papers and whatnot conferences. Is there a travel stipend that goes with that, or is that out of the student's pocket?
Well, we do have some limited travel funds, and also the Graduate Student Union has some travel funds. But there is, yes, if you're doing a lot of it, you're going to wind up paying for it too.
Great, thank you.
Other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, hi, Spencer.
Hi. So I was looking into the health disparities certificate, and I was wondering, because I actually live currently in New Jersey, but upon anticipated acceptance, I would move to New York. You would have to be a New York resident to do like the schooling and whatnot, right?
You become a New York resident after a year. So
Okay.
the tuition, we have in-state residency tuition and out-of-state residency tuition. So the first year you're out of state if you move to New York, but then you become a permanent resident, and that means that you have to change your license and where you vote and where you submit your taxes. And then in the second year and beyond, you have in-state tuition. But this is irrelevant really until internship. Internship, you wind up paying the tuition yourself, but up to internship, you're more than likely going to have that paid anyway. So the health disparity certificate is not extra tuition. You just take that along the way. That answer it? Yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Hi, I saw that there wasn't any coursework during the summer, but is research something that continues, or is it
Yes.
not in the summer?
Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Yes, it depends on your advisor and, if you're doing independent research. Sure. There are no required courses for the doctoral program, and that's because we don't have any tuition. We don't have tuition assistance for doctoral programs, for doctoral students in the summer. So we don't ask students to take courses in the summer. That's different from our master's program where students pay for it themselves. But yes, a lot of research gets done in the summer and going to conferences in the summer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. What else?
I was curious if it's possible at all to do in your program any sort of quantitative specialization or like certificates, or if you should follow more closely to like the suggested coursework.
So hi, Catherine. Yeah, we've been playing around with the certificate in quantitative, but we haven't put that together yet. But definitely, especially if you're looking for a research career as an academic or like a research scientist, say in a medical school. Yes, there's plenty of quantitative courses that you can take. You know, there's 4 that are required, research and research design and statistics. But beyond that, there are some specialty courses that we encourage students to take if they want a research career, primarily research career.
Hi, I was just wondering, after the application submitted, I know that there's a next step of interviews. So I was just wondering, like, when would we hear about the decisions to be admitted to an interview or not?
Shortly before the winter break. So sometime in late December or early January.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and to piggyback on that, are interviews in person or they can be virtual?
It used to be in person, but pretty much all programs are now doing Zoom. Don't you just love Zoom? You can get
Yeah,
to
it's great.
sit in your bedroom and pet your dog and have a conversation. Yes,
I
we
also
just
feel like cat coming up, so I love that part. I mean, my cat keeps crashing my meetings.
yes, we realize it's an expense, and you know, for students, and you know, if students are applying to multiple programs and have multiple interviews, it can be quite costly. So pretty much every program that I'm aware of has gone to Zoom interviews.
Okay, and
And our interview is pretty much a full day interview, and you get the same kind of introduction that I just gave to the program to everybody at the beginning of the day, and then you interview with people that you might want to work with, and then 1 or 2 faculty, just to for other people to get a sense of who you are.
Okay, great,
we don't interview everyone. We take usually about the top third of the applicants and offer interviews to them. Other questions? It would be wonderful to be able to offer a spot to everyone who qualifies. We can't do that, unfortunately. We have limited resources, especially financial resources and faculty resources. So our program is pretty small in recent years, and this coming year, we will admit 6 students. You know, it's a pretty tight-knit group. We always have an alternate list or a wait list. So if you're offered a spot on the wait list, don't give up, because very often we go through. Sometimes the people that we choose to make offers to also have multiple offers from their schools, and they sort of hang on to their acceptances and make decisions at the last minute. So, but everything has to be decided by convention, APA accredited schools. Everything has to be decided by April 15th. Other questions? Well, please feel free to send me an email if you have an individual question. And I look forward to reading your application if you decide to apply. So take care, and thank you for spending some time on your Monday with me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice day.